Hi, and welcome back to Influence, a show all about the College of Ag and Life Sciences. I'm your host, Lacey Gordon. Here with me today is Madison Dixon. Madison is our new Associate Director of our Ag Autonomy Institute at Mississippi State. Madison, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Lacey. How are you?
Good, doing well. Well, I know this Agriculture Autonomy Institute is very new, and so just to go ahead and jump right in, if you would just explain to us a little bit about what that is.
Sure, absolutely. So we are actually brand new. So the MSU Agricultural Autonomy Institute was officially approved by the state's Institutes of Higher Learning over the summer, and believe we became formally established on MSU's campus as of the new fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2023. Wonderful. So we are located at the PACE Seed Technology Lab on MSU's campus, 650 Stone Boulevard being our physical address. We have a 4,800 square foot autonomy lab at the building, as well as a small acreage out at North Farm that we're calling our Autonomous Acres Proving Ground. And we exist to do research and intellectual property development, as well as economic and workforce development on all things at the intersection of agriculture and autonomous vehicle systems.
Yeah, well, that is awesome. I know that's such an exciting thing to have, and we're glad to have y'all here. Can you tell us a little bit more about some of the research y'all are going to do, or what is the purpose of us having this Ag Autonomy Institute?
Sure. So really the purpose is to kind of combine two of Mississippi State University's really major research thrust areas. So agriculture first and foremost, which the university is very well known and very well respected in, but also autonomous vehicle systems. And I would say over probably the last 8 to 10 years, Mississippi State University has really made a name for itself in autonomous vehicle systems research. And so the Agricultural Autonomy Institute will aim to combine those two areas to create opportunities for various faculty, staff, students who are doing research in these areas. By and large, we are going to be focused on agricultural production, agricultural processing, and agricultural research. So in any of those three areas, there's a number of opportunities for autonomous vehicle systems to improve either the safety or the efficiency or the profitability of the activities that occur there. And so by collaborating with interdisciplinary teams comprised of principal investigators, faculty members, experts at all different locations across campus, we can serve as a single kind of clearinghouse to bring people together and to be able to perform research in the field of agricultural autonomy. So you asked for a couple of examples of ongoing research. Right now, we collaborate most extensively with the MSU Department of Agricultural and Biological Engineering. And so some of the research that's going on out of that department includes robotic harvesting of a number of different crops. Cotton, caneberries, which are like your blackberries is the top example that comes to mind. And so robotic harvesting of these crops has a number of different challenges, but also a number of significant benefits. Take cotton, for example. So if cotton is in the field exposed to the weather for a long period of time until harvest, then it could degrade the quality of the cotton. Small autonomous ground-based vehicle with a robotic cotton harvester type technology like we've seen in ag and bioengineering could be used to harvest that cotton at different times throughout the growing season, minimize the amount of time that it's exposed to the elements. That's just a quick example.
And I know you mentioned a little bit when we were talking earlier about the different types of ag autonomy things that y'all are going to have, you know, anything from drones or on the ground. So can you go a little bit into depth on those?
Absolutely. Yep. So the drones is I previously before I began working for the Agricultural Autonomy Institute, I spent the last 7+ years working for the MSU Raspet Flight Research Laboratory, and our research at Raspet was pretty exclusively focused on drones or uncrewed aircraft systems, as they're more commonly referred to in scientific publications and such. But aerial systems have a number of different potential uses within agriculture, both present and looking down the road. However, those aerial systems, by and large, are really focused on observation or remote sensing of various things in the agricultural setting. To a more limited extent, aerial systems can do physical things as well, such as aerial spraying. Also, they can be tailored to, say, remove plastic on the perimeter of a field that could otherwise work its way into the field before the harvest, but mostly sensing. You know, your terrestrial ground-based systems are the ones that are actually going to be performing most of the doing.
Yeah.
Whether that be tillage before, if we're talking in the case of row crops, that could be tillage, it could be planting, could be ground-based aerial applications, as well as ground-based applications, I should say, or harvesting as well. So really, each of the different domains, air, ground, even maritime to an extent, have their own types of autonomous vehicle systems that are capable of doing a variety of tasks in each domain. And I don't want to leave out that it's also important to note these systems can team with one another. For example, an aerial drone teaming with a ground-based system is another example of some research that's already ongoing through the Department of Ag and Biological Engineering. So teams of systems either across domains or even multiple systems within a single domain. For example, multiple drones operating as a swarm. All of these things are of interest to the Institute, and they're all things that we're working to perform research to advance.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Well, we will be right back after this short break.
Think you know ag? Think again.
We are creative.
We protect the environment.
We prepare for careers in medicine and conduct research.
We empower people and communities.
We are technology driven.
And we feed and clothe the world. We are at the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at Mississippi State University.
Welcome back to Influence. I'm still here with Madison, and he's still telling us about the Ag Autonomy Institute, and we've heard so many cool things going on with that. Madison, if you could tell us some current projects or some future projects going on with the Ag Autonomy Institute, we'd love to hear about that.
Absolutely. So in terms of current projects, most of those are occurring through collaborations with our faculty partners in ag and bioengineering. So I'd previously mentioned like robotic cotton harvesting, robotic caneberry harvesting, also the team of the aerial drone combined with a ground-based vehicle. That's for I don't think I mentioned previously, but that's really for thermal and for spectral data collection. The drone itself is equipped with a camera that captures that data, but the ground-based terrestrial robot is critically important because it holds the calibration panels to ensure that the drone data is properly calibrated. So that's a very unique project because the drone and the ground-based robot operate simultaneously with one another, and the robot locates itself where it needs to be as the drone is collecting data, and it just kind of moves from location to location to ensure that it's underneath the drone at the appropriate time. When you compare that to your traditional means of calibration, which is to go out and to physically place those panels at various locations throughout a field, and to also have to capture GPS on those locations so that you're being sure to properly geo-rectify your data, all of that takes a lot of time. Takes a lot of effort. During the growing season, it can be very hot. It can also be very busy in these agricultural environments. So there's nothing to prevent a spectral panel or a thermal panel from, say, getting hit by a tractor in the field. So by combining the aerial drone with the ground-based robot and ensuring that the two operate simultaneously, in conjunction with one another appropriately, it saves you a lot of time, much more efficient, and it also prevents things like that from happening where if you've got calibration stuff in the field, it gets damaged or relocated.
Yeah.
Lots more things in the works as well. But most importantly, before we get into any future projects, I did want to mention that we do have our Institute's official grand opening on October 26th.
Wonderful.
Thursday, October 26th, there at our Autonomy Lab located at the Pace Building. So we'll look forward to hosting a lot of our colleagues from Mississippi State as well as a lot of external partners as well. And we will have a number of faculty and their graduate students there to participate in what we're calling the Technology Showcase portion of the grand opening. So for anyone who's interested, if you would like to attend that grand opening, we'll have all of the technology out on display, doing some demonstrations and allowing the individual researchers to tell you more about their efforts.
Yeah, well, that's great. So we are so excited to have a Ag Autonomy Institute at Mississippi State. This is a big deal, us being a land-grant institution with some of the research aspects of it. Madison, can you tell us, though, some of your hopes and wants for the future of this Ag Autonomy Institute?
Yeah, that's a great question. So really the key concept that we'd like to share is that we feel as though Mississippi State University and the state of Mississippi are truly positioned to be the Silicon Valley of agricultural autonomy. And you touched on a piece of that by mentioning the land grant component of this. So MSU as a land grant university is so well positioned, and the Institute is really the benefactor of that. So all of the infrastructure in terms of agricultural research, locations and environments for us to do testing in, as well as our relationship with MSU Extension and the ability for our research to have a real-world positive impact on growers throughout the state. All of those pieces are already in place. And I believe I'd mentioned earlier that we've already got experts in both agriculture and autonomous vehicle systems located at various departments, as well as research centers and institutes across campus. And so in our efforts to become the Silicon Valley of agricultural autonomy, so much of the foundation has already been laid that we can now build on by pulling in experts from these different departments, different centers, and creating opportunities for them and for their students, collaborating with MAFIS to be able to do research, testing, and experimentation at various locations throughout the state. Coordination with our counterparts in MSU Extension to ensure that research has an outlet to the real growers across the state. And if you combine all of that with the tremendous support from our administrators here at MSU, to include the VP of Office of Research and Economic Development, Dr. Julie Jordan, as well as our VP of the Division of Ag, Forestry, and Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Keith Coble. And also I'd like to mention Dr. Scott Willard, the Dean of Cows, and Dr. Jason Keith, Dean of Bagley College of Engineering. All of these administrators have been very, very helpful to us. And again, we are positioned very well to become the Silicon Valley of agricultural autonomy. That's what our goal is.
Yeah, well, Madison, thank you so much. I so enjoyed hearing about the new Ag Autonomy Institute at Mississippi State. Thank you so much for watching Influence. We'll see you next time.